So, Scotty, episode 2, podcast here at Victory GMC. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I've been in the business a long time. Like to golf on the side, much as I can. Real big into the side of buying cars from individuals as opposed to selling. Don't get me wrong, I still love to sell cars, but with COVID and what it took over in the last 3 years, it's really kind of made a big difference in what people are finding out as far as the value of their vehicles that they never realized they were worth so much.
Yep. How is your golf game? Good?
Oh, yeah, it's hanging in there.
Don't lie now.
Could always
Everybody
be better.
lies about it.
Yeah, it could always be better.
Walker says he beats you every time.
Yeah. Well, most of the time we play together. We don't play against each other, so that helps.
Yeah.
But,
Did y'all play on this weekend?
Yeah.
Memorial weekend?
Yeah.
How'd y'all do?
Oh, we did pretty good. We took third in the tournament. So
Here in St. Joe?
Yeah. Had a lot of fun playing. Weather was fabulous. I mean, it's that time of year for the car business, too. That's for sure.
That is true. That is. And how long you been in the car business?
36 years now.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yep.
Long time.
Got in it a year out of high school.
Been in St. Joe the whole time?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
That's good.
Yep.
So you said that you like selling cars, but you like buying cars. I know you buy probably more cars than anybody I've ever seen every month. I mean, you search them out. You tell me kind of how you go about the process of somebody. Like, let's say Joe wants to sell his car, and he's looked around. He's looked at CarMax. He's done this. How does he go about selling a car?
Well, it's really a much simpler process than people believe. They think they're going to come into a dealership, kind of like when they're buying a car, and it's going to get strung out for an hour or two. And it's really very simple process of bring your car in, let me take a look at it. I try to keep it very short and simple to get to the facts. Obviously, we have all kinds of computer programs that tell us the values of the cars. We're more than fair with people on what we're giving them for the cars. We realize that with COVID, it changed everything in the used car business. And so, we're just trying to find some good inventory that we can get from people we know. Anytime you can buy a vehicle from an individual as opposed to going to an auction where you don't really know so much where it may have been or not been, it makes it a lot easier.
You know what I always say about that, as far as if an individual buys a car pre-owned or new, especially new, people say, well, what's the advantage of that one as of going to an auction buying? Well, you know how many butts have been in that seat compared to like a rental car that's had thousands of butts in the seat over the years that's used. You know how they've been taken care of. But I would rather have a car that we buy from an individual than I would from one that being at auction, because they can give you the whole history. Hey, I bought that car. It had a little dent here. It had, when you go, there's nothing wrong with an auction car. No. But when you go to an auction, you really don't know how many butts have been in that seat. You don't know how many, you don't know what all's been happening to that car. So I would rather much buy them from individuals. So that's why I like that process. But go ahead with the.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And with an individual buying it from them, just like you said, you get a lot. You get the story of where it came from, where they got it, what they did with it. And that makes people more comfortable when they go to buy the car.
A lot of people come in here and they have all the receipts of every oil change, everything. To me, it makes it worth more,
It does. And I've had several people that are brought in and they'll have a file folder with everything's been done to that car. There's still people out there that not only take care of their cars, but they keep records of all of it.
Absolutely.
And that does make a difference to us in what we want to give for a car.
Yep.
Obviously, if we've got all the history of it, we're more than comfortable to step up and give person, more than what, the car, what we even may think it's worth. It may be worth a little bit more because of we've got the history of it and what's been done to it.
Absolutely. That makes a lot of sense. So an individual wakes up in the morning and says, you know what? I've got a company car now. Because a lot of times we see that now. People have company car. Yep. I have a company car. I got something to drive. I don't need my 2020 Silverado anymore. I'm ready to get rid of it. Tell me kind of what that looks like as far as somebody selling us a car.
Well, obviously they bring it in. We're going to go through the car. We want to know everything about it. But again, when I say we keep it simple, we really do keep it a simple process so that people aren't just strung out. We want to get you your money, but we've got to do a little bit of investigation so that we know what we're putting ourselves into. Obviously, we're a car business. We want to make money off selling cars. but we want to be on the other side fair in what we're going to give somebody for their car.
Absolutely.
So, we just want to get a little piece of the pie like anybody does, keep the lights on.
Yep.
But in that process, we want the people to come in, sit down and tell us, where'd you buy it? What's the history of it been? Was it highway miles, or did you drive it in the city? We want to know all that information so that we can pass it along to the purchaser. I mean, that's
They get here, so you kind of evaluate the car, go over it, get somebody to appraise the car, get the value of the car. Then the individual, you tell them the value of the car. Sometimes you negotiate. Some people's happy with what you give them.
Right.
But then after that process, let's say somebody says, "Hey, I don't know anything on this car. Here's my title." How's that process work?
Well, it's very simple. We can actually, once we get a value and we get together with the customer on what a car's worth, there's about 4 pieces of paper that they're going to sign. Obviously, an odometer statement, the basic stuff, the purchase order from us, buying it from them. They simply sign the back of the title. You can be in and out of here selling a car to us in under 30 minutes.
And if they have their title, when they get paid for the car?
They get paid right away. We'll get a check cut right then. It takes us maybe 5 minutes to get.
So you don't have to wait 3 or 4 days.
No, very simple process.
A lot of places, like some big places like that, you got to wait.
Yep.
CarMax, do you get a check that day at CarMax?
No, you don't.
How long you got to wait?
It could be anywhere from, it's usually 3 to 4 days, or it could be as much as 10 to 12 days. It just, you don't know.
But I got my title. I don't know why I would have to wait.
You wouldn't think, but at the same account with CarMax, it makes it's so much tougher because they've got, let's put it this way, they got their bigger brass people that they've got to make sure that everything is in line with what they want, where we have you right here and we pretty much can get that done on the spot. There's never an issue.
So they can leave here with a check.
You better believe it. Yeah. And that's something people don't even realize a lot when they come in is that they will be able to leave with a check.
Yeah. As long as it's paid for, there's no lien, anything. Things you would have to have. Let's say I bought a car. It's 5 years old. I financed it. I paid it off. I've got my lien release.
Okay.
So if somebody had a loan on it before, they would need to come in. They would need their title and their lien release then to go with that.
Correct. Yep. If it's been paid off. If it's not been paid off.
So what if it has not been paid off? What do?
We will call the lien holder, get the payoff for it. And obviously, if we're going to give a person, say, $10,000 for the car and they owe $6,000 on it, obviously we're going to take $6,000 of that is going to go to the lien holder to pay it off. The other $4,000 is cut to the individual right there that day.
You don't have to wait on that either?
No waiting on that either. It's that simple.
It's amazing, ain't it?
Yeah, it is. People don't believe it at times that it can be that easy.
I'll tell you something that I found out over the years. Sometimes other car dealerships make it difficult. As I said before, people don't want to come to a car dealership and stay here for 3 or 4 hours and sit around. I mean, I can't do that. I don't want to sit nowhere that long. I'm too impatient. But
I tell my people the same thing. Yeah. I don't like hanging out at a car dealership either. No. But unfortunately, it's my job.
I know everybody loves hanging out with us.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, what more could they ask for?
I mean, look at we're so good looking cats. And
that's right.
But
yeah, just here to take care of, the St. Joe and surrounding area and reaching even further out than that. But it really comes down to.
What's the furthest you ever bought a car from?
Oh my.
Because I know you've had drivers go pick them up from all over the United States.
Yes.
And people don't realize that either. You don't have to live right here to
That's exactly
to buy your car.
Right. Because there's certain vehicles in certain parts of the country that are going to be worth more money than other parts.
Yeah.
And that's why, if you simply want to give the value that you can give for it. We don't try to play games. We don't try to, undercut somebody on what that vehicle's worth. We're going to give you the full value of it. And I think that's why it's been so successful with Victory, is it because all of our management is fabulous. They are straightforward people, morally, just you couldn't ask for better people to be in those positions because that's what you want. You want to make sure that as a salesman, you're a reflection of your manager, and buying or selling, you want to know that the person above you is somebody that you respect and you want to be, and that's tough to find sometimes.
It is, and I like that. I mean, that's why I think that's why we're successful and we sell as many cars as we did last month. I mean, we had a jam up month at all our stores. Man, it was so good. and it's June now. So I mean, summertime it's getting better and better and better. So let's say, here's a question for you that a lot of people have. Oh my God, I owe a lot on my car. It may not be worth what you're going to give me for it. What do you do in a case like that? Let's say somebody owes 20 grand on it and the car's worth 19. Well, what do you do there?
Well, again, it's still a pretty simple process. Now, obviously, if they're 1,000 upside down in that car, they're going to have to pay that difference off, because the lien holder, in order for us to get the title, is going to need the full 20 grand. So if we're only giving them 19, but it's that simple of, once we decide and how much they're going to have to bring to the table, they can just simply write us a check right there too, leave the vehicle, and it's taken care of.
Yeah.
It's out of their hands, and no more payments for them.
They would just have to write us they'd have to write us a
Correct.
check for that. It makes sense.
Yep.
But you will still buy it from them.
You better believe it.
Yep. And I think things like that is what makes it, because most places you go into and they go, well, it's worth 15 grand. Well, oh, man, you're upside down on that car. We don't want to fool with that, but we will. Right. I mean, does it take a little bit longer maybe to try to figure out the logistics on how to pay for that car, or the part that you are upside down?
It's going to take a few more minutes.
We do it all the time.
Yes, we do it all the time. So it's kind of secondhand to us. So it's not like we got to figure out how to do all this stuff. Guarantee you, we've seen it before.
So another big thing in the car business, it's always been over the years, is, let's say somebody lives in Tennessee, Kentucky, anywhere, Illinois, somewhere like that. Even take the buying part of it, even though it is a buying part, even if they're going to trade it in. Let's look at both scenarios. So let's say, okay, I've got a 2017 GMC Sierra. I'd like to sell it to you. Are you going to give me top dollar? One of the things that, and I try to tell all our managers this all the time, a sight unseen appraisal. Ooh, man, you hate to hear that.
They're the toughest.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So
I can't see the car. And I'll tell you, as a used car manager over the years, I'd be like, yeah, tell them to bring the car, bring the car up here, bring the car up here. I got to see it. I got to look at it. That's a used car manager's go-to phrase.
Yes.
Tell them, bring it up here and look at it.
Right.
And I'm telling you right now, the way, especially since COVID, the way the world has changed and everything, if that's the same mentality that you have, you're in big trouble.
Yep.
Ain't you?
Yep.
Big trouble.
You got to be. Yeah.
You're not going to get none of it. You have to learn as a manager, salesperson, GM of a dealership. You have to learn, hey, we got to give these people a value of their car. Now, if it gets here and they've fibbed a story and the whole sides tore off of it and all that, well, then you evaluate it then. But
sure,
there's so much information out there that a customer can get, that a dealership can get. You really don't have to be looking at the car.
Right. Even if it's from, like you said, Tennessee or Kentucky, if you can get the customer to simply send you some pictures, a video.
What else?
Let me hear it running. The VIN number, so we can run a Carfax. We want to know the history on it, just like anybody does. But yeah, the pictures, a video. Tell us about the car. Do they have records? If they've got records, can we see them? Fax them to us, email them to, however you can get them to us, so that we can give our best evaluation based off all the information we have.
That makes sense.
And we can make it easy, even if they're that far away. That's one of the things I do like too about Victory. We handle situations like this when it's Kentucky, Tennessee, Florida. It could be anywhere. We will not only deliver a car if you buy it from us, we'll come pick up a car if we buy it from you.
You've picked up how many?
Oh my gosh, I couldn't tell you. Lots.
So what is the furthest you ever bought a car? You remember?
First I've ever bought one, my goodness, it would probably that I've actually went and picked up was down in Florida. Yeah. And it was...
Didn't see it, did you?
No.
But they send you pictures?
Yeah, they sent pictures of it, told me about it. It was a car that we were interested. We needed it for a customer too, which really helped. But at the same account, and when I got there, I told the guy, I'm coming from a long ways away now. You've got to be honest with me. I don't want to get there and end up having to turn around and fly back. Yeah. So it does rely a little bit on the customer to just be straight with us. We're going to be straight with them, giving them the most we can give them for the car. At the same account, we need to know what we're getting into before we travel all that way. to pick it up, because that could be a long ride back if there's issues.
That is true. That is true. So, and we have flown people down to drive cars back before.
Yeah.
Lots of times.
It's another thing that happens.
So, well, that's good information to know. I hope that helps customers kind of
get an understanding how simple it is to get your car bought.
The main thing when people tell me, hey, can you bid a car for me? It's not here. It's in Iowa. It's in somewhere. The main thing I tell them, I need the VIN number.
Yep.
I need the miles, the exact miles off of it, and cut me a few pictures of it. I'll tell you a thing that we do now that I really like, because I was always a Samsung guy. I was never an iPhone guy until recently. And I encourage our salespeople to do this and all that. If somebody's buying a car, let's say somebody wants to buy a car, hey, walk out there with a customer and FaceTime them if they're comfortable with that. Sure. FaceTime them and do a walk around on the car with them on the phone. Especially now let's go to selling cars. How many freaking cars do we sell all over the United States? I mean, the Teslas and the Bolts and the Cadillacs and
I think we should start doing, maybe it would be kind of neat to put up a big map in the store like what they had in the Savannah store, and start putting a pin every place that we sell a car, because that thing was covered. And it's the same down here. We will go to the nth degree to help a person out, and we don't expect a whole lot in return other than to just be honest with us, because we're going to be honest with you, and it's going to be a good experience to where even though you're 1,000 miles away, you're still going to come back and give us a call and say, hey, I'm ready for a car again. What do you guys got?
A funny story about people coming from, we got somebody coming, wherever man is selling that Cadillac to us, a long ways away. They're coming from New Jersey somewhere. But one Saturday I was in Savannah at the old dealership, and the showroom was, tiny. And there was 5 customers when we were selling those Silverados, those used Silverados so cheap. There was 5 customers from 5 different states.
Yep.
Packed in that little bit of showroom. And I was like,
at the same time.
It's all about the internet now.
It is.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Well, and the customer service that goes along with it. I think sometimes you tend to get away from, as a customer, you tend to think that a car dealership or any business, because we've seen how it's changed. Customer service is not what it used to be. I get disappointed every time I go to a drive-through to get something to eat, that half the time they just throw you the bag and don't even say thank you.
Yeah.
That's not how we do things here. We are still, I guess, old school, if you want to call us that. Yeah. It's not a bad thing, because we take care of our customers, and we do that one little extra thing that most other people are not going to.
Yeah.
And that does, I've always said, it's the little things that make a big thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And if you take care of your people, they will come back and see you again.
Back the video thing with customers, what we was talking about before, that if you go out there, and I always encourage everybody, go out there, take a FaceTime them, do a walk around on it, especially one that we've sold, and said, hey, your car is ready to go. We're fixing to deliver it to you, because we deliver cars every day. Right. We'll deliver it to you, but do a walk around there.
Yep.
I'm delivering a Cadillac XT6 to Columbia. I did a little walk around with it. There's a little bit of scratch. I go, hey, I'm going to pop this piece off. We're going to get it painted for you. Right. That way, here's the tires, and show them the tires, everything. Like, wow, we've never seen this before. Right. I said, that's what we do.
Yeah, and that's how you got to do it, because your customer don't want to come all that way.
You don't want no surprises.
And if you just be straight up with them from the beginning, like you said, do a FaceTime with them or even a video, walk around that car. And I've told my customers, I'm going to walk around this car with a video, and I'm going to zoom in. If there's even one little tiny scratch or a little chip or anything on that used car, I want you to know about it, so there's no surprises when you get here.
It's sort of like the way old school way, and it probably still happens around now. I hope it don't happen here, but a lot of times you'd be like, oh, I hope they don't see that scratch over there. That's the way sometimes do business,
I've seen it a lot.
And I've realized over the years, and I'm probably saying back in the day, back years ago when I first got in the car, they probably won't see that scratch now. And just get it out in the open and tell everybody, hey, it's got a scratch right here. Do you want me to touch it up? Do you want me to try to paint it? Right. It may be a little cost, especially if it's a used car, it may be a little cost to doing that. And just be upfront with everybody. Tell everybody this is the way it is. Right. No surprises.
Right. No surprises.
A surprise, I can tell you what's going to happen. It may work out and they still buy the car, but they're going to be mad. They're going to think you tried to pull some kind of bull on them.
Yep.
they're going to think you tried to hide something, and you lose trust like that.
Right. And you will. And you won't get that customer back again either. They're not
you may
gonna
sell
come
them
back.
one car,
Right.
but you ain't going to sell the whole family and their friends and everybody.
Right.
That's what we're all
you've got to
about.
be straightforward with them, and it will earn you their business down the road.
Yep.
Even on a situation like that where, hey, there's a scratch here, we'll get out in the open. Let's see how we're going to handle it. And that customer, I think more than anything, that's what they want to know. As I've always said, any dealership is great to deal with when everything goes as planned.
Yeah.
But you'll find out how good your dealership is when you have a problem. That's when you're going to find out that we're different from everybody else out there. We will take that extra step to make sure you're happy. And there's not a lot of dealerships out there that'll do that nowadays.
You're right about that.
You know, everybody's all involved in the numbers and the money.
Yeah.
You know what? It's about relationships with people.
And, you know, with that aspect, as we always say, as long as you take care of the customers, you take care of everybody that comes in. If there's a problem, take care of the problem. No matter what, the numbers work itself out.
Right.
I mean,
They do.
if you sell enough cars and you take care of everybody, all the rest of it takes care of itself. If you do those things right, the rest of it takes care of itself. It ain't all about, oh my God, we've got to do this, this, and this. But I mean, it takes care of itself.
Yep. I've always said you put in your time and it will pay you back.
Yep.
It will pay you for the time you're here. You just got to keep yourself busy, keep doing things that you know are the right thing. And customers do notice the little things. They really do. As much as at times you think they don't, the next time they come and see you know what? I remember, Scott, you did that for me.
That's true.
I didn't think anybody else would do that for me. That's why I'm coming back again. And, hey, I brought this person with me. They want to buy a car too. So it's amazing.
We don't want to be just like every other dealership.
No.
We want to be different. We want people to think, hey, them boys are different, or gals or ladies.
Right.
They're different. They care, and they want people to come to them because they know they're going to get taken care of.
That's right. Yeah. So important.
Okay, Scott, so we talked about if somebody wanted to sell their car, how we buy it. So when it comes to what that value is, do you think that we kind of give more, kind of tell us what goes into what makes us special or better than the average dealer?
Right. Well, here's the biggest thing. The thing I've noticed, especially here at Victory, is we're going to take, and I don't mean take a lot of time, we're going to take a few extra minutes and we're going to dig in even further than what most dealers do to look at the value. Because we're going to give you more than anybody else. We're going to. And that's the one thing that I put when I put stuff out on the internet or on Facebook and everything, that, hey, before you just say yes to somebody, bring your car in here, bring the information you got with you, and let us take a look at it.
Give you a call, just say, hey, man, I got so-and-so offered me this is what I got. Yeah. What can you do for me?
Right. Give me a call and just let me know what it is, you know.
What's it take?
Yeah. What's it take? And by God, if there's any way we can get to it, we're going to get there.
Yep.
Because we're going to give you more than anybody else. And that's what we're looking for, is we want these cars that are coming from individuals. Like I said at the beginning, we're not looking to go buy them from the auction. Yep. Anybody can go buy them. Any of the dealers can go buy them from the auction, but we want cars, trucks, vans, whatever, that come from individuals that have a story, so that we can at least pass it along to the customers too. Hey, this is where this vehicle's been. This, you know, he was the first owner, second owner, or whatever of it. He had it for this many miles, took care of it. This is what he did, you know, without giving out somebody's personal information. Obviously, you can't do that, but we're going to tell you everything we can about that vehicle so you feel comfortable in what you're buying. 25, 30 years ago, you didn't have all this information. You didn't have Carfax that basically verifies exactly what that customer's telling you. You had to go buy what a car salesman told you.
And, you know, the funny thing is, when you're speaking of that, when I tell the salespeople all the time, I said, hey, when somebody comes in here, especially when they're buying a car and they say, hey, what can you tell me about this such and such Corvette? You can't BS them no more, because they probably know more about that car than you do. There's so much information out there. Same way with selling your car. There's so much information out there. You figure out what your car is worth, and you just can't steal somebody's trade anymore. You can't do that.
No.
So give them what it's worth. And you know, as a challenge to all the dealerships that we have, I want to make sure we buy everybody's car, give them more than CarMax or anywhere else. I mean, if you put it this way, if you spend your time, you come up here and we can't figure out, then we're going to figure out a way to buy your car. We're going to give you more than anybody else.
Exactly. Because I love it when somebody comes in and says, I got these records. Scott, you know me, you know how I take care of that car. you know how, I've got the records. I service it. I don't care if it hasn't said on the dash to change the oil yet. By God, at 4,000, 5,000, whatever, I'm changing that oil.
Yeah.
And I got the records to prove it.
Yep.
Those are the kind of cars that we want.
Absolutely.
I mean, you couldn't, as I've always said, I'll take a dozen of them.
Yeah. Well, man, I sure appreciate you taking time and sitting down and kind of explaining things. If anybody has any questions, whatever, just reach out to Scott or here at the dealership, whatever. But I do have one more question for you.
Yeah.
Are you sure that your golf game is as good as Wachtel's?
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll have to find out. We'll probably have to find out. I may have to issue a little challenge.
I ain't nothing wrong with that. I may put up a little prize for y'all. See who.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. Man, I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.